Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How is everyone? Let's get this started. I'm just getting my guest on board. Just give me a minute. I'm super excited for today's conversation. Oh,
Hello.
hi, how are you?
Hello. I am good, thank you. Yeah, been looking forward to this one today.
Hamish,
Yeah.
you're sitting outside.
I am sitting outside. It's too hot in the house today.
Oh, good luck to me. Good luck to me with
We
the
have lot
conversation.
we have lots of hamsters. We have lots of signal today. I've made sure of that. So it's all good.
Ooh, I'm already losing you. I'm already losing you. You're breaking.
Are you really?
Yeah. But all right. Hamish, how have you been?
I have been really good, thank you. I've had a good week. I have Do you know what? I'm on top of things. I've actually got everything going. Everything is, can you believe it? I'm gonna say those words, under control.
Ooh,
And
yes.
I've painted my living room. So next time we do a podcast, the you'll see the new background and everything. So that's the other reason I'm not there because it smells of paint.
Ah, I hear you. We're
Yeah,
matching green, green.
we are, aren't we? Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
without even checking. This is we obviously work together too often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Hamish, our topic
Mm.
today, very
Mm.
interesting, emotions. What do
Yeah,
you
emotions,
think? What do you
emotions and
think?
decision making. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
What do you have to say on that? I think, before you jump in, I
Hmm.
think that we fooled ourselves by thinking that we're logical beings.
Hmm.
We're not.
Hmm.
And science has now also proven that we're emotional beings, right?
Yeah.
And I think my understanding is when we say we're being logical and all that,
Hmm.
it means that logic is bringing in the option, the job, the relationship, I want to go shop this, I want to eat this,
Hmm.
but the trigger is pulled by the emotion. So we shouldn't discredit the emotion. We shouldn't say we don't want to feel our emotions. Our
Hmm.
emotions are bad because we are emotional beings. So amen to that.
Absolutely. Amen to that. No,
Yeah.
w- we just absolutely are. I mean, it's almost impossible not to be. You know,
Yeah.
you see somebody you like, you smile. They smile to you, it makes you smile. You we interact through emotions, through conversation, through all these things. And emotions are so heavily, I've done some research, so heavily tied to memories. You know,
Yeah.
a smell, you can remember a smell from 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it'll take you back to that place. And it's just like, I remember that. It just, it triggers a chemical response, a memory, an emotion. So, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Our brain processes, emotions are processed in here. It's not just the heart. You know,
Yeah.
they are processed up in the brain. We'll touch on that later. But yeah, we are emotional beings, and we have a brain that helps process.
Hmm. Hamish, why do you think we shy away or we run away or we don't want to accept that we're emotional beings or we're run by our emotions?
Oh, because they're irrational. They're
Hmm.
irrational. We can't control our emotions. I mean, a good example. I've got a certain friend, and if there's a very big loud noise, she'll burst into tears. And it's not a trauma response. It's just what happens. She bursts into tears. There are three or four musical tracks. I am bloody useless. I am broken down. I'm in tears. Absolutely.
Mm.
Um, yeah, we just are emotional, and we can't fight it because you well, I suppose the easiest, yeah, you just can't fight. It is just our makeup. We are here. We are designed to be emotional, and it, however hard we try not to be. I mean, you think of Spock from Star Trek, for example. He tries not to be,
Yeah.
and he has a problem communicating with people. It's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then, if we are emotional beings, then everything we do is driven through our emotions, right?
Yes, it's kind of somatic.
Okay.
You touch something hot.
Yeah.
You have moved your hand before your brain has gone, ouch. Your body is quicker than the
Yeah.
brain. The body, the whole neuroplasticity, not the neuroplasticity, the whole body, the whole systems, the way the body works, that's the fast bit. It's the thinking that slows us down.
Oh,
It's
really?
the processing that slows us down because we we see, we smell, we touch, we hear. I'm not sure how many million. Oh, here we are. 11 billion bits of information per second our body senses perceive. And there's a thing in our head called the RAS, reticulatory activating system. Somebody will point that out exactly what it is, but there is a thing in our brain that filters and goes, too much, don't want that, that's not right, don't need that, don't need that, this is what I want. And
Mm.
that, this is where, if you are a naturally negative person, it goes, we're going to keep, oh, you're negative. So you like, yes, here's information that proves your bias. Here's
Mm.
information that proves your negativity. Here's information that proves your positivity. So
Mm.
it filters based on your your outlook on life, really. So
Mm.
once it goes into the brain then has to like look at the color of it. What's the smell like? Is it safe? Is it this? Is it that? Is it a memory? Where's it come from? It does all this kind of cognitive maths, and
Mm.
then the thought is created. The emotion is pretty much instant.
Interesting. That's
Mm.
really fascinating, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
mean, it's a gut feeling. For
Mm-hmm.
example, something's not right. You sense it
It happens. Yeah.
before it happens, before you feel it. I mean, that's one of the thought process behind deja vu. Your body is remembering it or something, and then that's why it's just like, I've done this before, whatever. That is a
Mm.
scientific analogy for understanding of it.
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
I'm on a bit of the fence with that.
Right, right. So why do you think that it's so important for us to understand that emotions are the primary reason of our decision making?
Well, I think let's look at a sketch. I mean, I did some research this morning, as I said. So
Yeah.
there was a person named Antonio Damasio. He studied patients with damage to the ventromedial prefrontal cortex.
Cortex,
So the
yeah.
bridge between the
Yeah.
emotion and decision thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. And there
Yeah.
was one very bright patient, highly intelligent, analytical, this, that, and the other. He had some brain damage. And so that link between those two was damaged. What color pen do you want to write with? I don't know. He could not make decisions. What do you want to eat? I don't know. There's food in front of him. He didn't know where to start. There's something in the emotions. Without that, you analyze, you analyze, you analyze, you analyze. I mean, it just sounds absolutely horrible. I've not read I read the information about it, but just that information, it just sounds terrifying when you can't make a decision because you can't make a decision because you've got no frame of reference. You've got no memory attributed to that. You've got no passion, fear, lust, any emotion to, chips, for example. I like chips. I'm going to eat those. I don't like tomatoes. I'm not going to eat them.
Yeah.
Without that memory, without that emotion, something doesn't work. And it's very scary,
Mm.
really
It's
scary.
like it's like if I was metaphorically speaking, it's just like emotions and not having emotions. So emotions is like having flavor in your food, and not having emotions is something bland. It's like there's nothing there.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's more complicated than that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I've a couple of examples here. You know, I want to buy a house. It's a
Mm-hmm.
good investment. Where do I want to live? What's the house imply? Status, emotion. I can live there. You know, I'm safe. It's warm. It's cold. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it
Safety.
provides it provides all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
there's I want that, but all of those things are where do you want to live? I want to live by the sea. Why? I like being by the sea. You
Yeah.
buy a house based on that. You'll buy. You've just recently, well, not recently finished. You've done some therapy training courses. Why did you do those?
Mhm.
What was your decision for doing that? Just to make money?
Absolutely not. It was because of my own life experiences.
Hmm.
I didn't want anybody to go through that. So
Yeah.
I got the degree so then I could teach people at a professional level.
Do you think that was an emotional decision, or based on there was an emotional quotient to that decision making?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Quite,
Yeah.
quite, quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or quite, quite beautiful. I mean, you think of anything, you go down to the shops, you're going to buy. If there's two products and you're familiar with one,
Mm.
you're going to buy the one you're familiar with because you've looked at it and the emotions goes, I know that one, I know what it smells like, what it tastes like,
Mm.
and you're making a decision based on that not only the emotion, it's just like, well, that's 50 quid. I can't afford that. I can afford the cheap one.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
then analyze and process, but the brain pretty much reinforces the decision. So if you want to sell something to somebody, you use the emotions. I mean, this is marketing 101, sales 101.
Mm.
Um, but it works, and when you're honest and you're authentic and you've got a product, then you're fine. If you're dishonest, you're still going to do it, but then that's just bad karma. That is just being an unpleasant person and
Yeah.
using emotions against me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's it is the body is basically, or the brain is, the body's making a decision from memories, from thoughts, from emotions, from I like that, I don't like that, and then the brain goes, okay, yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
Um,
I think when I think of emotions, so I've never been scared of emotions. Like, people are afraid of feeling their feelings, right?
mhm,
So they kind of like avoid, withdraw, suppress, or try to do things to distract themselves, right?
mm,
And for me, surprisingly, I've never been scared of any feeling, even the discomfort feeling. Like, I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
mm,
Hmm, that kind of thing. So
mm,
I don't remember ever running away from feeling, but I do remember people telling me when I was a kid, because
mm,
I was an emotional being, that don't feel your feelings. You're too emotional, you're too sensitive, you're too this.
mm,
And that kind of like trained me and wired me growing up that showing emotions,
mm,
um, there's something wrong. People will use that. If you're naive, people will use that against you. Don't show your true self, don't expose
mm,
yourself, don't be vulnerable. So the world untrained me for something that I had very organically, right?
yeah, mm,
And then obviously I don't want to get too much into my marriage and stuff, that kind of like really brush that in. But
mm,
somehow I was always authentic with myself when I was alone. So
mhm,
if I were when I was in spaces where I had to be fake, I'm not going to show my emotions, I'm going to be XYZ, right? Because that's what the
mm,
world taught me, right?
mm,
I have everything in control, like you just said, right? That kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
mm,
But I was very sorted when I was alone. I could sit with my feelings. Like I didn't brush it away. I had to sit and
mm,
acknowledge what was going on. And I was never happy coming from gatherings where I had to pretend to be somebody I'm not, or be fake.
mm,
You
mm,
know, that kind of thing. It just didn't fill my cup up. I just felt like, what was that about? I can't do
mm,
that. I'd rather
yeah.
have a 10-minute conversation with my neighbor that's genuine. They're going through something and they just randomly share with you and stuff like that.
Mm,
But overall, over decades and decades, I've seen that emotions have been the world, or the societies and the culture and the
mm,
conditioning, and then again patriarchy comes into place, is that don't feel. Feeling
mm,
is wrong. Emotions are wrong. Be
mm,
stoic. That's good. If you're in power, if you are um, sorted, you do not show your emotions. And that's been really fascinating. And
mm,
that's why I wanted you to touch upon this
mm,
with what I'm asking. Because if
mm,
you take all of this away, which we're
mm,
primed and still primed, then how
mm.
are we still making decisions? Where are they coming from? Oh, like, hello,
Do you know,
what's going on?
I like that. So, um, okay. What immediately springs to mind is one of the things I'm finding about humans are we lie.
Yeah,
We lie, we know we lie, we know we lied to. It's
yeah,
far easier to accept a lie, to laugh at your boss's joke when his jokes are rubbish because you want something from him, that inauthenticity. And
yeah,
I think, we we try not to be emotional, we bottle it down, and then we swear at ourselves. I mean, I'm just thinking for me, for example, when I
yeah,
was bottling things up, I would swear at myself, I would beat myself up. The emotional barrage was appalling. So,
yeah.
we might try not to be, but we are. And as it said, because our decision making, going back to that, is based so much on memories, on choice. I suppose a way to think about it would be if you went to Japan, okay,
Mhm.
can't
Yeah.
read it, looks, I mean, and you've given six things, how would you choose which one to consume?
I didn't get your
When you
question really. Like, if I were going
Okay,
to
so
Japan without knowing about Japan.
you've gone to Japan,
Okay.
everything, all the food is in Japanese, so you can't
Yeah.
read the characters. How would
Yeah.
you choose which plates to eat? You'd have to look at it and then go, what does it look like? What does it smell like? Oh,
Yeah.
it smells
Using the
like that
other
smell.
senses. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're
Yeah.
using your body, you're using the somatic, you're using a memory, and a memory is an emotional response, causes a memory. And you're
Yeah.
using all of these things to make a decision. So
Mm.
I we're deluding ourselves if we think we cannot be emotional.
I think that's the
Unless you are.
biggest lie that we've been sold, because all my life, I don't know how much like
Mm,
your side of the world, but this side of the world, we've
mm,
been taught, oh, women are too emotional, women are too sensitive, so they're
mm,
weak. You're
mm,
emotional, you're
mm,
sensitive, you're weak, so you can't succeed. We are
mm,
men, we are sorted, we have our emotions in place. That's why we succeed, right?
mm,
What's going on here?
mm,
Like,
yeah.
so it doesn't really make sense. And I think
Mm,
the other biggest lie that is that men don't feel, or men are not emotional. Men are
mm,
emotional,
yeah.
um very
Mm,
emotional. I've seen men, get triggered, or like, their anger, like their one of the emotions that they show
mm,
very frequently is their
mm,
anger. They'll break
yeah.
things, they'll scream, they'll throw
Mm.
things, so I don't understand how women are more emotional. Where did we, well, and men are
Because
not, like, oh, what's going on here?
men told them so. It was
Yeah.
probably a man who
Men
said you're
lied
too
to
emotional.
us. Men lied to us. Made us
Abs
believe
yeah,
that they're better
yeah,
than us. Not
yeah,
you, but just generally the patriarchy.
yeah.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I am a product of that, and I am very guilty of passing on of that narrative because it is how I grew up. It is what I've
Yeah.
experienced. Women
Yeah.
pass on. Women can be quite brutal when it comes to patriarchy as well,
Oh yeah.
and it doesn't serve anybody. And it's
Yeah.
we're slightly off topic, but it really doesn't serve. And that whole narrative back to emotions and women make better bosses. They make better when they are in
Ah,
their feminine.
yeah.
They can't just sit in that toxic masculinity. They've got to be in their healthy masculine. Then they are fucking done. Much better because
Yeah.
they are using the emotions, not just the logic, um,
Yeah.
and working with people. And yeah, so yeah,
Do you think you can just be logical and not emotional?
I can try. I can really, really, really fail, but I can try.
I don't
Um,
think so. Because you
oh
see,
yeah,
like I said, I think logic for us, when we say
mm,
we're being logical, like, okay, I've done all the research, I've done all the pros, I've read all the cons, and then I've made
mm,
this decision to do this, right? So
mm-hmm,
I thought it through
yeah,
and I've been very logical,
mm-hmm,
right? And then you made a decision. The decision that you made ultimately was driven
mm,
by the emotion.
yeah, yeah,
So you can't just say I'm just
no,
logical. I'm just a
no,
logical person and you're just an emotional person.
yeah,
No.
mm, yeah,
It doesn't
well,
work. Yeah.
no,
So I think the
it does.
logic brings in the option,
Mm-hmm,
and then the emotion is where you hit the trigger button and you make the decision, yes or no or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And why I was laughing is just like I want to buy a car. I want I want this, and red because I like red. You know.
Yeah.
No. Um.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. So, but yeah. But exactly that. You know, the analytics incredibly important for decision making.
mm,
But it is biased from the original, from that somatic response, from that emotional decision because of I like that, I don't like that. That's where it stems from, and it's quite remarkable. As you said, you know, the hypocrisy of we don't need to, we're not emotional. This something. It's all lies.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And then
it's it's very
yeah.
strange.
Yeah. And then Hamish, there's another thing that's coming up. I'm just thinking about this movie I was watching yesterday or the day
Mm,
before. And then there's this woman, she's really sorted, right? And like, oh, she doesn't show emotions and she's straight and then she's the boss and everybody's scared. And then her friend goes, oh, she falls in love with one of the employees. And then you're like, oh, don't be emotional, don't make a decision from that perspective,
mm,
right? I think there's a lot of contrast over there also, and that's also something that's sold to us through
mm,
movies a lot, right? And we think that we have to be that way. I
mm,
think what we're missing out, in my understanding and perception, is
mm,
you're still going to make a decision that is coming from your emotional self, because we
mm,
are emotional beings. But I think
mm,
when people say don't be emotional, don't make an emotional decision
mm,
in workplaces, right, is that don't let your emotion override. So be in your regulated emotion.
yeah,
Am I making
mm.
sense?
Totally, totally.
Right.
Because you absolutely can make a decision totally emotionally.
Yeah.
You know that thought process. Oh, I want that. It can be reckless. It might be right. It might be reckless. It might be, you know, I want that piece of fruit, but it's on the other side of that lion, you know, and you haven't entertained the idea, or I want that thing across the road, so you run across the road without thinking about it. You know,
Yeah.
those are obtuse examples, but that
Mhm.
is, I want something, I'm going to have it because I want it. And if you're not bringing the analytics in, if you're not bringing the logic, the thinking, everything else, you know, look right, look left, is there a car coming? You're not making a decision wisely. So for business, it has to be a wise decision.
Yeah.
Well, should.
Yeah, yeah. Like you asked me, right? And it was such a beautiful thing that why did I become a therapist? Like,
Mm,
what was the, and then it's like, so if I go back, it was my life experiences, right? Now, when I
mm,
was at the peak, when I was unhealed, right, I couldn't
mm,
serve because
mm,
that wouldn't have served me or the people,
yeah.
because I wouldn't have been regulated. But
Mm,
the decision was made that I will logically go through the
Hmm.
steps of
Yeah.
working on myself, going into
Mm.
therapy, getting my
Yeah.
degree or
Mm.
getting my diploma, and then coming forward.
Mm.
The decision is still emotional, but it's
Mm.
more regulated emotional. I think
Yeah.
that's the difference. When you say
Yeah.
be
Mm.
logical, I think we're not saying be emotionless.
No.
We're saying be logical, meaning be more emotionally regulated when
Mm.
making a decision.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You
Yeah.
have a row with someone. It's very hard to stop fighting and start going, okay, right, we need to work this out. You have to get back into the left brain. You have to dump all the cortisol. You have to calm down. You
Hmm.
have to re-regulate. Otherwise, you're just straight back in that, in the inner child, 2 5-year-olds having a fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
and no one wins because it's, you said that, remember,
Yeah.
because you said that and you said that, and it's just, you're in that circle of nonsense,
Yeah.
and nobody wins. So you've got to have. I mean, that's why we've got a great big one of these. It
Yeah.
is it is to stop us getting into those loops. It is to help us analyze things and build houses, build phones, build this, build that.
Yeah.
Have a
Yeah.
food supply chain and all these things. That's what our brain does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then while you're talking, I'm just thinking that we've been taught everything, which was not important, but I don't remember ever, even in the most advanced countries, but correct me if I'm wrong, uh, we being taught emotional regulation. Because if we had that as our
Mm,
base growing up, we won't end up being so heartbroken, I guess. Or, repeating the toxic
yeah.
cycles of the
Yeah.
generational traumas, or, so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I suspect
Mm-hmm.
my grandparents hadn't got a clue about this.
Yeah.
And I suspect my great grandparents I mean, they loved each other. I don't know them, but I know the stories. They loved each other and this and that and the other. They had roles. The patriarchy was stronger. Um,
Mm.
emotional regulation, I don't know. I suspect, he was the income provider. He was the provider, the income, the support, the this, that, the other. She ran the home. That was those
I think it
roles.
was very robotic, Hamish. Very
Yeah.
robotic. This is
Mm,
my role. This is what I got to do. I don't need to bring my emotion in, and you just go do it, and
mm,
that's it. And that's how you do that. That's
yeah.
it. No questions
Mm,
asked.
yeah.
So I think that's where the
Mm.
problem is. There was emotional numbness. Um,
I think it was probably a lack of emotional intelligence. I think,
mhm.
your kids are a damn sight more emotionally intelligent than you were at their age.
Yeah,
If I
absolutely.
had kids, the same thing. Lots of my friends have got their kids, just like, where the bloody hell did you learn how to be so emotionally
Articulated.
stable,
Yeah.
available, articulate, all these things? Um,
Yeah.
that's what, not me, I haven't had kids, our generation have done. They have seen what our parents did to us and said, there's no bloody way we're going to pass on that lack of empathy, that lack of cognition, not a lack of love, because it's not about that, but that
Yeah.
emotional intelligence and being able to, you know, I was not taught how to manage anger. It was just go, come back when you stop being angry. And my sister sits down with her daughter, and the daughter will stamp her feet, age 3, saying, "Mummy, I am angry," and
Hmm.
they work it through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's not frightened of anger.
Yeah.
My parents were frightened of anger. Um, but that's
Frightened.
just,
We're not allowed to show anger. How dare you?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just life.
Yeah.
That's just what it was. Some people were more enlightened, more capable, more able. That's
Yeah.
just life.
So,
I
Hamish,
don't
what
think.
happens if
Mm,
you're robbed of certain kind of emotions? Because I guess the conversation is how important emotions
mm,
are, and we need to accept that we are emotional beings,
mm,
and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not weak if we are. We
mm,
are actually. So what happens? Because again, conditioning, upbringing, culture,
mm.
has robbed us from
Yeah.
so many emotions.
Mm.
Then what do you have to say about that then?
What, the fact that we've had them robbed? Um, I mean, I sound like I'm fatalistic. You know, that's just what's happened.
Yeah.
It's incredibly unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It is what has happened. I can't go back. You can't go back and blast your parents for not teaching you, the schools for not teaching you, because that's not going to make a lot of difference. You can heal it back, but you can't
Yeah.
change the fact that you weren't allowed to show emotions because that's just not okay. You can't
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm being pragmatic. That's what it was, and now I'm learning, and
Yeah.
that's my takeaway. It's just like, well, you know, I now know that it's safe to be angry. Doesn't mean I
Mm-hmm.
can hit you, but it means I can say I am upset, I am angry. I'm not going to frighten you. I'm not going to hurt you, but something needs to change,
Mm.
and those conversations. But that requires education, and yet schools
Mm.
don't. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know whether
And
schools do
I
now.
think we've also been taught that if you feel an emotion, you need to act on the emotion. If you're feeling it, act on it. Feeling it, act on it. And I think that's what I think is missing, because
Mm,
I'm really angry at Hamish right now and I want to throw this towards him because he's making me so angry. And
mm,
I do that because that's what I've seen, that is what I'm conditioned, that is what I've been taught.
mm,
Now, at this stage, I know I'm feeling this emotion.
mm,
I will not suppress it. I will accept and acknowledge it that I'm feeling this.
mm-hmm,
And that's all. I just need to
mm.
acknowledge that this is what's coming up for me. And
Yeah,
I don't need to act on it, but I need to validate that this is what I'm feeling in the moment, just for myself. That's the internal thing, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's almost. I've just got this lovely image. That's almost what it is. It's a little child saying, "Mummy, Mummy, I'm angry. I'm angry. You need to acknowledge me." And it's almost just like, yeah, I see you. I am angry.
Hmm.
I mean, I had a conversation with a friend and says, I am angry today. I am really, really angry. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to hurt myself, but I am angry because you know, I'm sad. I'm disappointed. Something's happened, etc.
Hmm.
Um, and as you said, you express it, you feel it, and it kind of goes, thank you for seeing me.
Yeah.
Thank you for witnessing me. And then it flows through you because you've allowed it to process. I mean, this is half of trauma. Is it's the emotions not processed. I mean, this is
Hmm.
your domain, not mine.
Yeah.
Um, and when you can stop bottling those emotions up and process them, the healing, the next time that trigger, okay, we've talked about that before. The next time that emotion crops up, where there is a response to it, it is vastly muted because you've dealt with it, you've processed, you've understood it, you've given it a hug.
Hmm.
But it's yeah, I wasn't taught it, and I can
Hmm.
be bitter about it, or I can go, well, I just wasn't. Now I know. Now I'm going to do something about it, and that's all I can do.
And do you think the lack of this knowledge about the emotion regulation
Mm,
and understanding and articulating our emotions and learning that we don't have to act on every emotion that, you know,
mm.
surfaces for us, uh, the lack of it has led us to different sorts of addictions over time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. I
Mm.
I think very much because if you're afraid of an emotion, you will not let it go through. And you know you just won't. It's like I'm angry. I'm not allowed to be angry. I don't know how to process anger, and all these things. It's like the only way I know how to stop that is by drinking, by having sex, by doing this, by doing that, by going shopping, by whatever, gambling. To
Smoking, eating, so many other
yeah,
things. Yeah.
all to ignore, you know, to drown out that emotion, and it
Yeah.
works. I mean, this is the thing about
It
addiction. It
distracts you
works.
from that thing. It takes you
Yeah,
away from that thing,
yeah,
and you kind of feel
absolutely.
good for about it in the moment
Yeah,
because now you're not
mm,
thinking about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. So you know, anything to anything to not feel that emotion that is frightening is what? people do,
Mm.
to mask it. And it's very hard. I mean, you've expressed it. It's very hard to feel that emotion and let it come through, especially when you're involved with a conversation where there's emotion, there's connection, I mean, your school kids looking after them, something happens, bullying, all these kind of things. It's very hard not to fly off the handle and just react badly.
Yeah.
Um, just using that emotion as anger as a weapon rather than as a advisor. And I think that's part of our experience as a human being is to understand these emotions and be able to deal with them and process them with so that at some stage very little phases you.
Mm. I think what
And
I'm
then
learning from all that you're saying in this conversation, and obviously the people over here who are listening can share in the chat box as well, is
mm,
that I should stop being scared of my emotions and be more curious about my emotions,
yeah,
because that opens a door
mm,
for experience, right?
yeah,
Instead of just shutting it off or distraction or whatever, which doesn't really serve us in
no,
any way.
no, no. And I'll let you into a secret. I can't guarantee this 100%, but in my experience, every single emotion that I have kept away and every single one that I have met hasn't killed me.
Same.
It hasn't. It's not going to. I had this conversation with somebody and they said, well, you could get to a stage where something's too frightening and then it's like you are really pushing that to an extreme. The emotion didn't. The response did. How the person did X or Y did, but the emotion, I'm feeling angry. Yes, you might have a heart attack. That is a byproduct. But when I am brave enough to really dive into those uncomfortable emotions,
Mm,
it's just like I'm still here.
mm, mm,
My head hasn't fallen off. I haven't. They're warnings. They're messages. They're
mm,
messages telling you something's not okay. They are not designed to make your life miserable. How you
mm.
respond to them, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hamish, then getting more deeper into it, then there are certain emotions you just can't be with, like anxiety, is just something you run from, and it runs
Mm,
right back at you though. but
mm,
but then what I've learned in recent times is, I had a great conversation with Becca also about it. She was in my live stream, and it
mm,
was that anxiety isn't a bad thing. Society
mm,
has taught us it's a bad thing.
mm,
And I've had anxiety, and I've had anxiety attacks and stuff. And,
mm,
uh, having no knowledge at that time, suddenly one day I was just like, I did exactly what Becca said in the live stream. Was I
mm,
sat and I was like, what's going on? Like, what's
mm,
happening? I'm sitting in my room. I'm sitting on my sofa. I'm feeling anxious as something is about to happen, right?
mm,
Something terrible is about to happen. And then, well, there came in my logic. But
mm,
the more receptive part of my brain, like, is it really true? Is it really happening? Or
mm,
is it just you're making things up and your brain doesn't know it's real, and it's causing
mm,
you to feel anxious or your heart rate going up? And i
mm,
really i really like broke it down for me, like, what is this feeling doing, you know
mm,
and
mm,
and it was a very unconscious thing that I did. I put my hand on my chest,
mm,
and
mm,
I just like, I'm fine. I didn't say I'm safe at that time, but I just said I'm fine and this is not real.
mm,
And I realized that for so many years, that feeling was drive that emotion, or that feeling was causing me to make decisions. Oh, something bad is going to happen. Oh, let's get out of the house. Oh, the house is going to be on fire. But
mm,
then the feeling was still there, but I had more tools in my awareness in how to, I guess, regulate or articulate myself.
mm.
So I
Yep.
think I think the better understanding I'm getting from this conversation is that the emotions are not going to go away. They're going to come. The triggers are going to come. Everything is going to come. Nothing is going to go away. You're not going to get up one day all healed like, oh, that doesn't
No.
happen.
No. Mm,
They are going to come, but you would have more, I won't say control, but more understanding on
yeah.
how to navigate through it by not letting it drive you. You would
Yes.
be driving. So your emotions don't drive you, you drive you. You tell your emotion, okay, no, you're not doing that.
Mm, yeah.
Shush, sit down
Mm,
right there.
yeah.
You
Mm,
know, that
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, as I said earlier, I think that is one of the mysteries of life is to be able to get to a space where they still come. As you said,
Yeah,
you can't change that. You can't control what's going on around you. You know, your neighbor who was an idiot before is still going to be an idiot and still will be. So they're always going to be an idiot. But
yeah,
you no longer throw stuff at them. You just smile sweetly and wave politely when they shout at you. Um, you've changed. I've changed. You
yeah.
know, I am now better able to respond. So I liken it. You're always going to react. That's just life. You always will. There'll always be that. And then
Yeah,
I try and like
absolutely.
it. You
Yes.
know, I've breath's gone in, and before I breathe out, then I can go right. What do I want? What is the outcome that I want? Do I want to
Mhm.
hit my neighbor and then change nothing? Do I want to ignore my neighbor so they don't get the kick that they want from winding me up? Yeah.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, as you said, you've got more tools in the
Mm.
toolbox. It doesn't.
Mm.
There's this lovely Tony Stark thing. He's just standing
Mm.
there. It doesn't get easier. I just get better, which is
Yeah,
Tony
excellent.
Stark. But that's what it is. You just get
Yeah,
better at it. It doesn't get easier.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, it does get better because then
it
you're
can
like, yeah,
do.
whatever. Yeah, you know.
Exactly. Yeah,
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 yeah. One
yeah,
day, the same neighbor was annoying you. You didn't want to leave your home because you didn't want to see that neighbor. Now
yeah,
you are in your like more sorted and in your zen, and you know you just
mm,
walk past through it. He is
yeah.
what he is, so you're
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
letting him dictate how you show up for yourself, kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. You wave smartly, you know, you may even, drop a gift round or something like that just because, you're feeling happy one day and then you wrong foot the guy. It's like, what's going on? But you've you've had to make a conscious decision to change a narrative and going right back to the emotion. The emotion that is the thing that says, "Oi!"
Hmm.
That's the not a feeling, it's the emotion. That is the oi. That is the little messenger saying, "You're being treated badly. That's not okay. I'm sad. I'm in love. I don't like you. This is not okay." That's the
Hmm.
emotion, and it's just as you said, it's feeling it. However hard it is, and they all go. I think one or two linger, but I think most of them go um, because that's like a message, and
Because
then
they
it's just
don't
like,
have
okay,
power over you. We think when we suppress something or
yeah,
when we avoid something, it will automatically just go away. It actually doesn't. It actually sits and it waits to attack you
mm,
when you're so not ready,
yeah,
and it comes out in the worst forms. You know.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. Mm.
yeah,
Exactly, it does. It's like a pressure cooker.
yeah.
Everything that goes wrong, you're just turning up the heat a bit more, just turning up the heat a bit more. And then at some stage, the little thing on the top's going to go off, the lid's going to fly off, hot water everywhere, bits of metal everywhere.
Yeah.
And it will. It absolutely will.
And the best example is a relationship. If you don't address something that's bothering you and you're like, just let it go, whatever,
Mm,
right? It keeps on bottling up and the resentment
yeah.
keeps on building up because you didn't address it. And one day you blast and you bring it up, and the other person is like, when did that even happen? Like, what is this person talking? Because it was
Mm,
so long ago.
mm, yep.
So I just thought that was one of the best examples to give at this point.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's what men do. Men bottle it up. They will not bring up things that are not okay in a relationship
Mm.
as tactfully and as elegantly. It's going to be an explosion. It's going to be throwing things. I'm not saying women don't, but men are, we are told more than, actually, that's not, I don't know. Certainly in the West, men are told not to be emotional. Men
Everywhere.
don't cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and no, because I was just thinking, as what you said, you were told you're being over emotional, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not allowed to show those because it makes you weak. All that kind of nonsense. And I think
Yeah.
that narrative's changing. I hope
Yeah.
it's changing. Um, but when you don't have that emotional intelligence, it is fly off the handle. It is just fuel on that anger, on that fire. And yeah, the results are disaster.
Yeah.
I've got
And
first-hand experience of that, and it's tough.
yeah. And Hamish, you see, when you said, men are taught, not just in your part of the world, this part of the
Mm,
world, so much, don't
mm,
feel emotions, don't cry, men don't cry. Like,
yeah.
even in this day and age, my son
Mm,
was, I think, 4 or 5, and people
mm,
started saying, oh, boys don't cry. And then telling me to
mm,
tell him not to cry, and I
mm,
was like, no, he can cry. He's a
mm,
human first.
yeah. Yep.
And I was really taken aback. But
Mm,
don't cry, don't feel emotions, right?
mm,
Men don't feel emotions, yet they are the most aggressive beings. They do feel
mm,
emotions,
mm, yep.
so are you we've never thought that, okay, men are not emotional, but what about the aggression, the anger, the abuse, when they
Mm,
hit you, when they throw things at you, when they come
mm,
on your face and talk to you,
mm,
trying to scare you? What is that?
mm,
They are as emotional as women are, but
yep.
we don't look at it through that lens,
No.
and we don't tell men that they're being emotional. I don't know what we
No.
think they are being, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Oh, you're being emotional. No, I'm not. Yeah. Mm,
I'll punch
yeah.
in the wall.
Mm,
No, I'm not, and I'm not
mm,
emotional. And
yeah.
and
Mm,
we never question that okay, that was an emotional thing.
mm,
Look at how bad the wiring has been. Sorry, it's not funny, but I just thought it was funny also.
mhm,
So,
yeah.
so Hamish, I'm really curious to understand from your perspective.
Mm,
You really wanted to talk about this topic, right? You thought
mm.
this was something really important. I want to understand why.
Curiosity,
Okay.
genuine curiosity. And as you were saying that, I wonder how different men would be when it came to decision making when they were more understanding of their emotions.
Hmm.
If and when I am a businessman, I'm a highly successful businessman running my business. I've got a lot of employees. I've got a lot going on. If I am emotionally intelligent, I'm going to be able to listen to my subordinates. Those, the not subordinates. I'm going to listen to people. I will not have that. I'm the boss. I know best. Frail ego kind of thing,
Hmm.
because I know that much. The next person knows that much. Somebody else knows this much. So I can't be expected to know everything. But if I am fearful, if I'm not able to be emotionally intelligent, make decisions based on that, I'm really hampering myself. It's just like running around with one leg tied to a rock.
Hmm.
If I'm going to be emotionally intelligent, I'm going to make better decisions for myself, for my family, for my loved one, for people in my office, people in the business, because
Hmm.
I'm able to see it's not just about that. It's not just about that. If I treat my staff better, they will work better. They will feel better. The whole environment will be better. This is why women make better managers, because they think like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that understanding, I think even just understanding that, yes, all of your decisions are based from emotions. Good
Absolutely.
example was poor old Elliot, who couldn't. He had no emotions, couldn't make a decision.
Hmm.
Every single decision you do starts from an emotion, from a memory, from something
Yeah.
emotional, somatic, body based. It's not just up here. It's not just logic. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Hamish, you said something really nice. You said that the ego part, right? I think that ego takes over more than the emotion. When you said that
Mm,
if I'm driven by my ego, then I'm right. I'm the boss. I decide. I don't need my employees' feedback. That's
mm,
your fragile ego. I don't want
yeah.
to say man's fragile ego, but
Mm,
anybody's fragile ego,
yeah.
because you're
Mm,
letting your ego decide. So
mm,
then I would say that what the hierarchy would be the emotions, right? Are you operating from being emotionally intelligent,
mm,
or are your emotions driving you, or is it your ego driving you?
mm. Good question.
Yeah, because when you
What?
when you give that example, right? In
Mm,
in in any, not just in a work environment where I'm like, I'm the boss, I
mm,
decide whether the decision works for the company or not. It's my
mm,
ego that I will not listen. So I
mm,
shut off everybody and I decide, right? It's
yeah.
my fragile. Basically, it's my
Mm,
fragile ego, right? Now, bring it in. I'll give context to my culture, right? So if it's
mm,
my grandfather, or it's my father, for example, they won't budge. It's
mm,
their ego. God forbid if we accept we are wrong and our grandson is
mm,
right, we will look small.
yeah.
It's not the emotion, it's the ego,
Yeah.
right? And the
Mm,
ego is telling that you have to say stoic, right? No,
mm,
what I said is right. No questions asked. So,
mm.
so I think that also plays a very big role in today's world, how we operate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And is that emotionally based? Yes, it is.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
But
it's
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 masked
a
as
it's it,
ego, it's just
mm,
masked as ego. Ego
yeah.
taking over the emotion.
Mm, yeah. And yeah, that would be interesting. That would be worth having a look at and having a conversation with it, a bit more thought, because
Yeah.
I'm just feeling my way through this, thinking my way through it. So why am I, as the scared boss who's doesn't know how to use his emotions intelligently? Why am I not listening to my staff because they might have a better decision? They might have ideas that are better than mine. Why is that upsetting me? I don't know why that's upsetting me. Hamish doesn't know why this is upsetting me, so I can't work that out.
Mm.
There's a wound there. There is definitely a wound there that we're
Absolutely.
diving into. This again. This is back to your domain, so maybe you can answer that question. But it absolutely comes
Yeah.
from within that arena of emotions, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's an
Mm,
inner, it's not your ego. So your ego is fragile. You don't let your ego drive you.
mm,
And people think that, there's this book, I've forgotten the name of the book, where they put the head on the side
mm,
from the body, right? And it says something, don't let your ego, or something like that. I completely blank on the name
mm,
of the book. It's a really good book, but it talks about how if you let your ego drive your emotions,
mm.
uh you've lost it. You're just gonna
Yeah.
end up alone, because it's just
Mm,
gonna be you, and it's your fragile ego. You
mm,
think, oh, I'm being this. No, it's your fragile ego. It's a very scared, wounded inner child,
mm.
basically.
Yeah. And that's responding to the emotions. Yeah. Unintelligently, isn't it? It's
Yeah, yeah,
responding from fear. It's responding from it's safety. Absolutely.
mhm,
It's coming
yeah.
from that safety, but it's not. It's a lack of emotional intelligence, isn't it? It's more than
Yes,
that,
yes,
but that's a chunk of
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
There is no emotional intelligence in there. When
No,
you operate from your ego, there is no emotional intelligence in there, because it's
no, there's
just
not.
it's,
That's
it's
right.
just a
Yeah,
one-way street then.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hamish, what would you want men to understand from our conversation today around emotions and decision making?
I think a little crack would be just realizing that emotions are a part of decision making.
You're healthy.
Well, let's just there's that curiosity. Okay, so really, emotions are part of my decision making. Yeah, which toothpaste do you like? I like that one. Why? Because I like the taste of it. There's a memory, there's a response in there. I don't like that one. It tastes horrible. As soon as you start to point these things out, then there's that awareness for change. So it's just that simple. It's a pattern interrupt.
Mm.
So I think if men can realize that emotions are running their whole system, regardless of whether they want it or not, um,
I think it's
and I
about
think,
just acknowledging that we are emotional beings, period. The
yeah,
minute we acknowledge that, I think half of the work is done. It's this
mhm,
always this, I think, this race that we have to run against the emotions. So the
mm,
minute we just pause, reflect, and say, we can't run against ourselves. We
mm,
are emotional beings. I'm
yeah,
going to accept it. I
mm.
think that kind of like does the job, most of the job. Because
It doesn't it?
the resistance just goes really down with
Yeah,
that kind of acceptance.
yeah. And from there you can get curious.
Yeah.
And if you're not curious, it's still that fact is true. You look at Eliot, and he's the example that shows that emotions are required for decision making.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and with that, just like, okay, so they are. Every decision I make is based on a emotion. No, it's not. I will try and prove it.
Mm.
That decision wasn't. I bought a red car. I like red. Bugger, it
Mhm.
was. It's
Mhm.
just like they will start to hopefully look at some of the bigger decisions. I mean, the obvious ones are the woman of your dreams, marrying the woman you want. Why do you want that job? Prestige. All these are emotional reasons to have that job, and
Mm.
it's not a big leap to realize that yes, they were made emotionally. Doesn't mean that it was solely emotionally, but there is a
Mm.
big emotional quotient to there. And then that just like as you said, that's like, oh, okay,
Mm.
awareness and curiosity. That's going to change things. Yeah, that'd be
Mm.
such a great takeaway if every man listening to this was able to go, yeah, they are based on those, aren't they? I can see that now, and that will
Mm.
just polish a few sharp points and make them think about it. Just get curious.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And maybe for women too, that it's okay. We're not that bad for being too emotional.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would. Yeah.
Mm. Well, Hamish, thank you so much for this conversation. It was really enlightening. I learned so much. Um, I guess I'll see you next week.
You. Yes. Yes. I'm just thinking. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to be here. Last in the week no show. I'm so sorry about that. I really
Yeah,
was in a very strange place, but
yeah,
I will be there next Friday. Um, and I enjoy these, and thank you for the questions. Thank you for filling in the bits I'm curious about. You've
yeah.
got so much expertise in your field, and bringing that into these conversations is so important.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate.
yeah, I think it's fun. I
Hamish,
enjoy these.
you
Mm,
did you did mention that we should share it with our viewers that
mm,
we are open for you guys to send in questions, send
absolutely.
in topics that you would want
Mm,
us to talk about. So guys, please
mm,
participate as much as you want, and we will try to incorporate you in our conversations. And we're open to taking in topics that you would want us to bring and talk about as
mm.
well. Hamish, we're going to wrap up, but I do want people to know what's going on with Hamish a little bit. I know lots is coming up at your end. So share that a little bit before we close the session.
What's going on with Hamish? Well, Hamish's podcast is live, and
Yay.
I work with men. The podcast is called the Brave Man Project, and
Yeah.
it's all about men being brave, men going, my life isn't working, and I'm going to turn it around. Whether
Mm,
it's addiction or a divorce that was so terrible that he was devastated, she was devastated, whether it's loss of a loved one, and then choosing to rebuild. And when you hear a story of somebody falling apart and rebuilding, it gives hope to so many people who are in that space.
Hmm.
So I'm doing that. I'm working with men around that and getting curious. You know, you have emotions. Yeah, I get angry. Good, there's a start. Yeah, we
Hmm.
we talk about these things like we've done today, and that's what I'm doing. And it's challenging. It's interesting, and getting a man to open up is difficult. But it just I just have to hold a space and listen, and that's what I'm doing. And it's, as I said, it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, I'm enjoying my world at the moment.
Well, I'm glad. I'm wishing you all the best with your podcast. Hamish, if people are interested in going and looking at these episodes, where is it on YouTube? Is it on your Instagram? Where are they?
It's all the information is through my Instagram, but it's on YouTube, it's on
Okay.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all other podcasts. It's the Brave Man Project with Hamish Niven.
Okay. The Brave
So
Man
yeah,
Project, guys. Remember that if you want to
with
go
Hamish Niven. Yeah,
with
that's the one.
Hamish, have a
Mm.
look at that. Hamish, thank you so much. I'll see you next week.
You will, absolutely. Thank you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.